please rise for a moment of silent prayer followed by a pledge of allegiance. Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call.
Mr. Magna.
Here.
Mr. DiLoretto.
Here.
Mr. Dressel.
Here.
Mrs. Vaughn. Here. Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Paul.
Here.
Mr. Timmons.
Here. All members present are here and accounted for. Absolutely. Mrs. Hall.
I move that we approve the minutes of August 2nd and August 9th, 2016.
Second. It's been regularly moved in second that we approve the minutes of August 2nd, 2016 and August 9th, 2016. Roll call.
Mr. Villamagna.
Aye.
Mr. DiLoretto.
Aye.
Mr. Dressel.
Aye.
Mrs. Vaughn.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Mr. Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Timmons.
Aye. So moved. Minutes accepted. Petitions and communications, Madam Clerk.
I have none.
We will now move into the ordinances and resolutions before City Council this evening, and we'll start off with ordinance number 2016-65 by the Planning Committee, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Dressel, Mrs. Hall.
Ordinance number 2016-65, an ordinance amending section 1197.08 of the codified ordinances of the city of Steubenville.
You heard the reading of ordinance number 2016-65. Is there anyone wishing to speak on it? Please come forward, state your name and address. If not, members of council.
Question?
Roll call.
Mr. Villamagna.
Aye.
Mr. DiLoretto.
Aye.
Mr. Dressel.
Aye.
Mrs. Vaughn.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Mr. Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Timmons.
Aye. So moved. Ordinance number 2016-65 duly adopted. Effective date of this ordinance will be September 14th. Resolution number 2016-71 by council as a whole.
Resolution number 2016-71, a resolution authorizing and directing the city manager to begin negotiations with the Jefferson County General Health District for the purpose of forming a union between the Steubenville Health District and the Jefferson County General Health District.
Here is the second reading of resolution number 2016-71. The third reading is scheduled for August 30th. Ordinance number 2016-72 by the Planning Committee, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Dressel, Mrs. Hahn for second reading.
Ordinance number 2016.
I'm sorry, for first.
Ordinance number 2016-72, an ordinance amending chapter 1175 of the zoning code creating the Argonne, Greenwich, Stratford Neighborhood Conservation District.
Here is the first reading of ordinance number 2016-72. The second reading will be scheduled on August 30th. The public hearing from the Planning and Zoning Commission will be held on October 3rd, 7 p.m. in the council chamber. Depending on the outcome of the regular meetings and the schedule, the third and final reading might be scheduled for the following day, October 4th or October 11th. And the reason I'm saying that is there might have to be some legislation, so we'll have to consider that. So we'll just leave that. We will now move on to ordinance number 2016-73 by the Planning Committee, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Dressel, Mrs. Hall.
Ordinance number 2016-73, an ordinance amending chapter 1175 of the zoning code creating the Whitehaven Neighborhood Conservation District.
Once again, you heard the first reading of ordinance number 2016-73. The second reading will be scheduled on August 30th. A public hearing will be held on October 3rd at 7 p.m. by the Planning and Zoning Commission. Third and final reading will either be October 4th or October 11th. Ordinance number 2016-74 by the Safety Committee, Mr. Paul, Mr. Villamagna, Mr. Timmons.
Ordinance number 2016-74, an ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager and fire chief to advertise for bids to replace the department's current inventory of SCBA harnesses, cylinders, and face pieces in accordance
second reading of ordinance number 2016-74. Is there anyone wishing to speak on it? Please come forward, state their name and address. If not, members council. I know it says in declaring an emergency, we move immediately to public forum. I call for questions or comments from the public, now it's up to the council, and we'll have a vote if there's no. Roll call.
Mr. Villamagna.
Aye.
Mr. DiLoretto.
Aye.
Mr. Gressel.
Aye.
Mrs. Hahn.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Mr. Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Timmons.
Aye.
So move ordinance number 2016-74 duly adopted. I noticed some members of council looked a little confused, and the question was, the ordinance in the caption, it says, "and declaring an emergency," section 2 is the emergency clause. According to the charter, when it declares an emergency, we move into public forum. I did ask for comments from the public. Then we went to the members' council. A vote will be held. It will be effective immediately upon my signature. We will now move into resolution number 2016-75 by council as a whole.
Resolution number 2016-75, a resolution of commendation and appreciation to the volunteers who helped with the 2 new entrance signs to the city. Whereas the following volunteers: Bricklayers Union Local 10, Carpenters Union 186, Laborers Union 809, Steve Arosevich, Sam Shorak, Scott Campbell, Tom Gentile, Scott and Kimberly Hahn, Martin Phillips, Roger Wells, Ed Littlejohn, Rob Perrin and Lindy Annabelle, Steubenville Revitalization Group, Ray Gamble, Tony and Tom Deere, Tammy and Paul Sweeney, Bonnie and Steve Cifarella, Jojo DeAlbert, Ian Eddies, DeGregory's, Todd Morelli, the Terramana family, Steve Bukalik, Jim Saltzman, Terry Fiffen, Clint Powell, Jeff Neely, Shane Neely, Devin Coyle, Mark Viola, Ed Rice, Joe Miller, Jim Conrad, and James White Construction volunteered at the 2 sites at the entrances to the city of Steubenville. And whereas the various volunteers dug and cleaned out the 2 sites, built 2 new walls, and planted various flowers and plants. And whereas these volunteers, at no expense to the city, showed their city pride in beautifying the 2 entrances to the city. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the city of Steubenville, county of Jefferson, state of Ohio, that this council does hereby commend and express its sincere appreciation to the volunteers who helped with the 2 new entrance signs to the city, and thank them for their work in the city. That the clerk of this council shall present a certified copy of this resolution to the said volunteers, and that this resolution shall take effect and be in full force immediately upon its passage and approval by council, otherwise at the earliest period allowed by law.
Mr. Villamagna.
I move for a roll call on the resolution.
Second.
It's been already moved in second that resolution number 2016-75 be adopted by roll call. Roll call.
Mr. Villamagna.
Aye.
Mr. DiLoretto.
Aye.
Mr. Gressel.
Aye.
Mrs. Hahn.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Mr. Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Timmons.
Aye.
So moved. Resolution number 2016-75 duly adopted. Now, I do want to make a comment that according to the charter, resolutions also call for public comments. However, we did say in honoring people, we would just move adopted, and now we have that opportunity. Mr. Billman, would you like to comment on this?
Yes, I will.
Resolution.
Yeah. It's with great honor that I have these certificates. And a lot of people that were supposed to be here tonight told me they wouldn't come. I figured I was going to embarrass them, which I was going to. But there's something to point out here that there's so many people in this resolution that are personal friends of mine. There's a couple guys that I really have to point out. And Clint Powell, he's the business agent for the laborers. And this guy, I've swindled him at least 100 times working for the city. I tell him stuff just to get him down there, and then he gets here and he does it for me. He did it at the library, put the soldiers, not the soldiers, the steel workers statue in at the library. He's helped me with these 2 signs. He laid the brick in the front of the building. I mean, he's just a great guy. And he lives in Rush Run. He doesn't even live in the city. And also Jimmy Saltzman. Jimmy Saltzman came down because he works pretty hard. He got a lot of work. He got a lot on his plate. I told him I had a deadline. He'd come down with track hose on Sunday, and he worked all day long, and he dug everything up. And Roger Wells, when the equipment broke, he was there in 2 seconds with new equipment. And just everybody, it just was amazing. And if you haven't seen the signs, you got to go down and look at them. They're beautiful, and absolutely no cost. There's $10,000 worth of work sitting there that was paid for by these people's work. And I can't say enough for the citizens of this town.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bill Magna. Mrs. Vaughn.
I just wanted to mention that there are a few other people that didn't get on the list. Gretchen Nelson oversaw a lot of the plants, gathering the plants, keeping them alive till we could get them in the ground, which actually was a feat in itself. Therese and Jenna helped us plant. The Masaccio family came, and I'm sure there were some others that I don't remember at the moment where they were. But is there a way to add names or give them a copy of the resolution? Okay. But I just really deeply appreciate it. And then the deers, I just want to acknowledge the fact that they have been watering through probably the driest summer I think I can remember in Steubenville till right now. And so every 2 or 3 days they have gone and faithfully watered both of these entrance gardens. And I'm just deeply grateful for their willingness to do it and glad for the range of the water that we provided. So there are other people. Sister Mary O'Connor has also helped. So anyway, again, very, very grateful. No cost to the city. We didn't even need a grant. We just really put our heart into it, and it's saying a lot about, I think, our people as other people.
Mayor, can I follow up with one?
Yes, Mr. Bill Magna.
I noticed that when we were reading it, it wasn't supposed to be about the flowers in here, and that was added in there by mistake. These people that were here, I don't know if you could make a resolution to honor everybody. There were so many volunteers that helped, but these were the people that just did the 2 signs. These guys couldn't plant a flower if they had to.
Thank you, Mr. Bill Magna. And I believe we're preparing a certificate of.
I have.
Yes. We can surely make up a certificate to add Gretchen and others.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Bill Magna. Thank you, Mrs. Harmon. Is there any other member of council wanting to remark on resolution number 2016-75? If not, that will conclude the ordinances and resolutions before City Council this evening. We will now move into the report of committees, and we'll start off with Mr. Bill Magna.
I have nothing.
Thank you, Mr. Bill Magna. Mr. Viola.
Short report. I want to thank everybody who helped the Beatty Park meeting. It went all very successfully. No cost to the city. Everybody worked hard. There was a lot of donations. And I have plans for next year. Got a little bit of grass. I got somebody going to donate some mulch and some more grass. So it's very, very less costly to the city to run Beatty Park. And we South Enders take care of our property. Some of us.
Thank you, Mr. Fioretto. And let me tell you, the South End reunion was another great success, and it has been growing over the years, and we do appreciate their participation. And the city was happy to provide the grounds for them for that activity.
Thanks for coming today, too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fioretto. We'll move on to Mr. Dressel. Thank you, Mr. Dressel. Mrs. Hahn.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick comment, and maybe you all saw the report in the paper, but we welcomed Heritage Ohio here to Steubenville. We had over 100 people at Frelick's Tuesday night, and almost 50 people the next morning, which I thought was amazing, knowing how many people have to work during the day, and we knew that would be difficult, and yet we still had nearly 50 people there. We generated a lot of ideas, and I think within about a month, they'll return and give us some more ideas in terms of steps forward. One of the things we're hoping to get is ideas from other Main Street communities on how they organize their budget, how they go about getting the person that could fill that role of being the director, if that in fact is something that we're going to be able to try to do. And Steubenville Revitalization Group was talking more about it last night. So please keep listening for, what may be coming up next, and keep sharing your ideas, because I think a lot of good things are happening.
Thank you, Mrs. Hahn. And Mrs. Hahn, I was going to remark, and I want to thank you for your efforts in organizing the full day of activities and providing me a lunch also, and I do appreciate that. But the article, and Dave, you did a tremendous job assessing the downtown. Anybody that participated in it will realize the value that we can get out of Heritage, Ohio, and the advice and recommendations that we can. They're not really a funding agency, but the resources that they have on how we can re-identify, rebuild, assess our downtown is really, really outstanding. I want to take this opportunity also to thank the Steubenville Revitalization Group, Mark Nelson, and company. I see Mike sitting out there and all, because that didn't come cheaply to the city. There was a cost attached to it. And the city of Steubenville and the SRG group split that cost for this assessment team to come in. But we had some very good and great discussions. As Mr. Bill Magna pointed out earlier, if you agree or disagree, we put it out on the table so they could do a fair assessment of our downtown area. And the good news out of all of this, starting this coming Thursday, although Heritage, Ohio didn't have anything to do with it, you're going to see continuing improvements in the central business district. We'll be scarping and repaving Market Street all the way down to 3rd Street. You probably saw the white markers out there. I saw our engineers department out there preparing for that. Once that is completed, I think that's going to bring a lot more excitement and attention to the central business district. It's really not going to solve our problems. However, we're moving in the right direction with that. So thank you for your assistance with that day of activity. We're going to continue on with reports of the committee members to Mr. Johnson.
No reports.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Paul?
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Mr. Timmons?
I know I put in a couple requests about Foster Place, and we spoke about 1504 earlier. I just wondered if there are potholes that still need filled. I can barely drive up that street, especially the alley on Foster. And also, there's a shed where people are using drugs right next to it. I didn't know if there's something we can look at and maybe take that down. So that's kind of where I'm at there.
Thank you, Mr. Timmons, and misplaced my name. Is that just 15 or 4? Thank you, Mr. Timmons. That will conclude the report of committees from the members of council. We will now move into the administrative officers, and we'll start off with our city manager, Mr. Mavromatis.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a release that's going out on our city hot mix that affects Market Street. They are going to start on August the 9th. It will go from 3rd Street all the way up to Market, well, from 3rd to 9th Street. It's going to start at night at 6 p.m. till 8 a.m. in the morning, where they'll be grinding the road up. You'll still be able to drive on it during normal business hours. The only thing that is different there, it will be marked properly, no parking. There'll be a day's notice. If vehicles are parked there, they will be towed. Again, this is part of the 7/10 city income tax revenue that's being utilized for this project. This was one of the reasons why, when we had our festival week, we didn't paint the curbs on Market Street, because they would have been re-marked up again when the equipment came in. So now, once this is all done, they'll be properly marked and the curbs will be marked. Frankie,
Yeah.
I will see that what I'm going to read here gets to you, so that'll save a little bit of your transcription. This is a letter that came in from Mr. David Yost. He's our auditor of the state. Congratulations. Based upon your recently completed financial audit, it gives me great pleasure to inform you that the city of Steubenville has received the Auditor of the State Award with distinction. Clean and accurate record keeping are the foundation for good government, and the taxpayers can take pride and their commitment to accountability. The Auditor of the State Award with distinction is given to those entities that file an annual CAFA and timely financial reports in accordance with GAAP, as well as receive a clean audit report. The clean audit report means that your financial audit did not contain findings for recovery, material citations, material weakness, significant deficiencies, single audit findings, or any questioned costs. Congratulations again on receiving the Auditor of State Award with distinction. My office looks forward to continue to work with you to ensure clean, accountable, and efficient government for all Ohioans. Signed, David Yost. And this was addressed to Mr. David Lewis, our Finance Director. And Dave, I personally thank you and your staff, our department heads, because I know how this was a little bit of disruption to our department heads, and especially the Finance Department. But Dave, this is something that's very important to the city. It helps us in many ways. So again, I'd like you to come up here and I'll present this to you.
Appreciate you presenting the award. It's a really big deal for the city. This is the second year we've received this award. My understanding is fewer than 5% of communities receive this reward. So Mr. Maverman has said it involves the filing of a timely annual financial report. I have a great deal of gratitude to the staff in my office just for making all this happen. There's a lot of transactions that go on throughout the year, and there's a lot that has to happen in order to get everything done in about time. Also, a great deal of gratitude to all the departments. I mean, finance is they're basically the scorekeeper. We print the checks, but they're the people who spend the money, basically. And it's really important in government finance how the money's spent, and they did a really good job last couple of years to help us qualify for these awards. Thank you.
Thank you, David. This is more for a point of clarity. I received this letter yesterday, and I guess they say timing's everything, but this is apparently the new asset manager, Mr. Robert Pritchard. He's the asset manager of the Fort Steubenville. I placed a call today, left a message for him to call me again. He will meet with us here. I'll know right off the bat on what I asked him for, if he's going to be a person who wants to cooperate, or he's going to be a stumbling block. And then we'll take what we have to deal with. But clearly what I'd like to do when we set this meeting up is set a time. I would like to have some of the store owners come to the meeting and meet with him so he can hear, not just from me, but I'd like him to hear from some of the store shop owners. We'll do this during the daytime so you're available. I brought up earlier about Mr. Kaiser. I talked to him personally on the phone. I've worked with Ray Kaiser on numerous issues. He was grateful to send me a copy of the contracts that they put in to these people that own these properties, which I'm going to give to Mr. Rapolo to review to make sure that there isn't areas in there that they are clearly in violation. And that would open the door for us to go after the owner of the building and the gentleman in New Jersey. So that's where we're at with this. Tomorrow, I will be in Jackson, Ohio, speaking on the opioid epidemic that's facing everyone. Here, West Virginia, Congressman Johnson and Attorney General DeWine are hosting this and asked me to speak as one of the speakers there. Thursday, I will be down in Wheeling. They're having a town hall. Again, the two attorney generals from West Virginia and Ohio are having this town hall panel in regards to the opioid epidemic that faces both of our states. And we're clearly affected here. But I'd like to bring this up so you can put this in proper perspective. We do have an issue with heroin in this area, but it is nothing like other communities. And this just came out today in Huntington, West Virginia. I think they had maybe 19 or 20 overdoses in a period of a foot amount of time. That could be for a variety one, what the heroin was cut with, or the potency of the heroin itself. And normally when you have something like this, when they investigate this, they will determine exactly what this cause is. What I am happy to see with a lot of these prosecutors, they are now going after homicide charges against these dealers. It's an illegal act, but they are supplying the bullet to the gun that eventually kills the person. So again, it isn't just here, it's across our whole nation. And again, I know it's hard because you're focusing on what's here. 2 people were using heroin up in pennies. The children are in the back seat. There's not, well, to me, there's nothing new. When I say I'm used to this, 35 years of being in this business, you see the worst out of everything. But to the law-abiding citizens here, this is not normal, and I understand. But again, when I say we are on top of it, we're on top of it from the intelligence standpoint. But it's a mountain of work that's out there, and we take it step by step. The other thing I wanted to bring up was the North End Park. This week, we're scheduled to put the finishing mulch in that park. And hopefully by the end of the week, Mr. Baird will give me the word that it's safe to open, and it will be open. I also bring this up to the North End residents and any resident in Steubenville who have filed for a hearing on an expanded liquor license at the American Legion that's there at 7th and Franklin. Again, the city is opposed to this, and we will have a hearing. There's a variety of reasons. This is nothing against the American Legion. Unfortunately, it's their location that it borders a city children's park, and this is going to bring up a lot of problems. What this is a D5 application. This entitles them to stay open until 2:30 in the morning, a package license to sell beer and wine, to leave there and open to the public. But I will tell you this, it may not look like it from the outside. It is a beautiful facility on the inside. And I met with several of the members last week. Again, I understand their concerns. They basically, what they told me, they wanted to stay open until 2:30. That was their intent. Well, unfortunately, that D5 license, you just can't block out certain things and focus on the other. There's another mechanism for it, another type of license, but again, they can't apply for that. So again, the real test is in the pudding. We'll make sure that the public knows where the hearing's at and for you to attend that. If you have any objections towards that license, that's the time that you should express it. Mrs. Stubbs will make sure you ladies know when the park is open, and we'll go from there. Ms. Rue, I advised Mary Beth to send in the form to the rec board for the hearing. So again, I'm requesting that the rec board be wherever this hearing is at. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Mr. Mavromatis. Before we move on to our law director, just so everybody's aware, we're excited about the scarping and the repaving of Market Street. Let me just say that the process won't happen overnight either. According to the contract, I believe the completion date is October 30th. October 15th. We don't anticipate it, but you never know. But there'll be other work going on. Some of the curbing needs repair. Some of the handicap access ramps need to be replaced. There's quite a bit. Ultimately, coinciding with this repaving job, City Council went through the historic signs, as you know, that we approved. They're ordered. They should be hopefully towards the tail end of this, if not a week or two following, and we should have those up too, all in time for the Christmas season. Okay, with that, we will move on now to our law director, Mr. Rappel.
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Rappel. And once again, we want to thank the department heads for attending tonight's council meeting. We will now move into public forum. Is there anyone wishing to speak to City Council on city business? Please come forward, state your name and address.
I'm Mary O'Connor, 825 Heckman Court. I just want to commend the council, just the way you're working together. It's just really inspiring to me, and I'm just happy to see that. I just wanted to bring up one thing. I was disappointed that the pool closed so early. This year, it's been so hot and the kids have nothing. And also, another thing is transportation. Like, a lot of the kids don't even have a way to get to the pool. And I'm wondering if there's something could be provided next summer, some kind of shuttle or something, so these kids can get to the pool. And a lot of them can't afford to come. And I don't know if some provision can be made for that, so these kids can have something to do. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. I could probably answer about the pool closing. Our lifeguards, our students, they go back to school and blah, blah, blah. But I think properly responding to be our recreation director, Mary Beth.
Mayor hit the nail on the head. The vast majority of our lifeguards are college students. A lot of them have went back to school. A lot of them are also involved in activities, soccer band, so band camps, vacations. We had literally 3 guards our last day. 2 of those guards were on vacation the next week, so we had to shut down a week early.
Mary Beth, I think it's fair to say that the recreation board and our chairman's here is aware of that, and it's not uncommon for other communities or in this community that we close the pool a little bit earlier than later day. However, next year, I believe they're trying to work on the program with the Steubenville city schools and lifeguards and maybe retaining them longer.
That would be good, you know, maybe if some lifeguards could be hired earlier. I think that'd be a good idea. Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak to the city council on city business? Please go forward, state your name and address.
That's Calvin Webb, 1511 Foster Place. Problem we have up there is kids congregate at 1504 Foster Place. We called the police department, which has responded every time, but it keeps going on and on and on. They want to throw rocks. They want to break windshields. I had a buddy come visit me. They ran over top of his car, smashed his back window, broke his top, and it's just a continuing thing. And the parents are always staying in the house. None of them comes outside and says anything to them about anything. At any given time, there's 10, 15 to 16 kids up there at any given time. They're running around the neighborhood just doing what they want to do. It's ongoing. We just need something done. And we'd like to have a camera put up there because Kendall Avenue is nothing but a drug street. If we can get a camera up there where we can see Foster and Kendall, it would help out a lot.
Thank you. In our committee report earlier under safety, 1504 Foster Place came up by the councilman and
thank you for your time.
thank you. Thank you. And I think we could direct some of our efforts in this approach to 1504, including the health department. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to city council on city business? Please go forward, state your name and address.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Harry Thomas, and I'm from McCausland, Florida. First off, this is like what I'm going to say. I mean, no offense to anybody. I just follow in the chain of command, and this is where it's leading me. I started off small, and now I'm up, in front of the council. One quick thing before I forget is I do take this a little bit of offense, Mr. DiLoretto, and we go back a long way. As far as not being involved like we should be.
Right.
If you think about it, there's not too many of us left.
No, right.
I mean, I was president of the Downtown Business Association, testified to that. I was chairman of Main Street, the Main Street program, 20-some years ago. And
Provided carnations one time for
What's left,
downtown.
what's left has to get involved.
there's absolutely no, there's absolutely no doubt
I've been
about
fighting this
that.
battle for 10 years, you
I
know this.
absolutely agree.
Okay, thank you.
The problem that I have with is, you've all brought it up this evening, is the forced student stuff. I mean, it is without a doubt the biggest nuisance that this city has to deal with. And it's detrimental to my business. And unfortunately, it's come to the point, I mean, McCausland's Florist has been a staple in downtown Steubenville, started on 4th and Market in 1875, moved to the present location in 1903, and we've been there ever since. But unfortunately, we're going to be leaving the downtown and probably moving up on Hilltop. We have no walking traffic. If they do come down, they're harassed by the people across the street. My employees are scared to walk alone from the Rite Aid parking lot to work. They meet as a group and walk together. They are approached by panhandlers. They're approached by people just asking for money out of the blue, and when they tell them that they don't have the money, they call them liars, and they basically flee back to their cars until somebody else comes and they feel safe. You know, I mean, when my employees and my wife are scared to come to work, I mean, that's a sad state. We, during the report for the calls to the Fort Steuben, I don't know if any of the, we have cell phone access to Captain Young. I don't know if any of the calls that we make to Captain Young are reported as part of the calls to the police department. But you could probably add 3 or 4 phone calls to him in a week's time from just our store. You know, so I don't know if those are included in the police contacts or not, because we just call him directly. But, you know, I mean, it's terrible. Chief McCartney, last year when we had the shooting in front of the store, and a week after that, the cruiser went through the window chasing somebody over to the hotel. And all this is over at the hotel. You had promised me security cameras. We walked over, looked at the light poles. You asked me specifically, where would you like them? You know, I said, well, this one would be great. This would be great. We could put one here, and we're all essential. It wouldn't be on their property at all. It's all on the city's light posts. Nothing. And I'm not slanting, believe me, and you were friends too. You know, but, you know, it's been a year. No follow-up, no nothing. You know, and the drug activity that goes on over there in the military, and this isn't saying the militarize the police force, but we have what we call a salute report, which is just to go out and gather information. It's size of the unit, whether the activity, what are they up to, the location this is happening at, what kind of uniforms they're wearing, what's their attire, and the time and the date. I personally have done the stakeouts for you guys. Told you exactly how many people go in and out of there on a Friday or Saturday. In and out of backpacks. All of them go in with the same haircut, come out with the same haircut. 15 to 20 people at a time. I got so frustrated this spring, I was on my way down to the police department, and I saw Sheriff Fred coming down 4th Street. I stopped my car in the middle of 4th Street, jumped out, and said, I need somebody's help. There was a car parked in front of my lot that looked like a Cheech and Chong van. There was so much pot going out the windows right in front of the shop. I had customers there. And the activity, back and forth, back and forth. We talked to the people in the car, went inside the hairdressing place. And, you know, of course, I don't know what was said, but the car did end up leaving, and the people inside pretty much, you know, dispersed. But, I mean, it's an on-day weekend thing. Every weekend, it's the same thing. Friday and Saturday, it's just like boom, 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 boom. You know, I mean, they're not getting haircuts. You know, they're not getting haircuts. So I don't know what the answer is there. My wife can tell you more of the things that she deals with on a daily basis. unfortunately, due to some health problems that I've had for the last 3 years, I can't work as much as I used to, which is pretty much put all the pressure on payment. But believe me when I tell you, there's never a dry eye when she comes home. She's scared to death, and we don't know where to turn. So that's why I'm here speaking my mind. Usually I don't get involved. My dad always told me, don't start waves, don't cause problems, don't speak your mind. You got to be careful who you talk to.
Good man.
But I've lived up to the best that I could, and the businesses leaving downtown. It's just sad. It's sad. It's unstable. Still being Steubenville, just going to be on the hill. So that's all I got, guys. I appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen, your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there any other
I am so sorry. I am so heartbroken for you. And this is beautiful. What is it going to take for us to actually get serious about passing the resolutions and having them fulfilled? We're being held hostage by a handful of really bad people in the heart of a town that is good people.
Before I forget, I just had 2 more things that just popped into my mind real quick this morning. Pam and I wanted to move downtown. We wanted to move above our flower shop. It's beautiful up there. Just to give you an idea of cost, what it would cost to renovate these businesses down. Beautiful marble fireplaces. We've got a mahogany staircase that goes up with an open skylight to illuminate the, just hardwood floors throughout. Just to get it up to code. I went to school with Mr. Bodo, and I went to school with Freshwater. So I called Doug and Mr. Bodo to meet with me down there, just to do a walkthrough, just to give me an idea of costs. Just to get the building up to code, from electric to the asbestos removal, to the lead paint, to the plumbing, to plumbing codes, and just to give it livable, and excess of $200,000. Now, you take that by every business down there that would want to renovate, or people need to have big money. I mean, the Historical Society, God bless them, are worried about facades. What they need to worry about is logistics, and how many tractor trailers it's going to take to bring in the I-beams to support the front of the facade as the rest of the buildings crumble. My own opinion, and I'm just being honest, but, if somebody would come in right now to the city of Steubenville, like TGI Fridays or, a modern restaurant, are we going to tell them they can't come in because they're going to ruin our facades? I don't get that. I believe in history, and I love the idea of keeping them like that. But if they're not occupied, who cares? Let somebody bring in something modern. If they want to buy 6 buildings in a row and put in a fantastic, up-to-date restaurant or a hotel, an up-to-date hotel or something like that. I mean, the greatest thing we've ever going for us right now is the port. In Nutcracker Village, and when I was on the DBA board, I told them years ago, and I've met a lot, I had a lot of resistance when I said it, but it was the truth, and it's coming to where it is now. I told them years ago, the murals are wonderful, they're absolutely beautiful. But do you really want to drive through the city of Steubenville to look at those murals? You've got nothing here to offer them. At the time, the only place they were going was the Cretan Company. That was it. That was the main attraction. And we had tour buses after tour buses. Am I correct, Mr. Mayor? I mean, we had a lot of tour buses come through this town, but they never came back. It was a one-time deal, and then it was done. I mean, if we could figure out a way to bring in businesses, use the murals as an attraction, plus the port and all that, then we've got something going. But the murals, as they are now, it's sad. Because we worked hard. I mean, we had we had studies, we had maps, we had diagrams. We've been drawing diagrams for years. Everybody has an idea what the city should be and, what it should look like. I think Chris Petrozzi even has one that my dad was involved in, like back when the Andersons were here, with skywalks and, if we're not, if we're going to just draw and talk and nothing gets put into motion, it's just, it is what it is. And it's sad. Without, thank you. Agree with that.
Thanks, Eric.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak to the city council on city business? Please come forward, state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Pam Thomas, and I'm Harry Thomas's wife, and I'm the co-owner of McCausland's Stores as well. I work there 7 days a week, so I see a lot. I see a lot downtown, and I am the ears and the eyes of what's going on at that hotel. As Harry mentioned, I'm crying almost every day. I can't take anymore. Enough is enough. I did a little bit of research through the internet, proposing and questioning the building codes or the safety of what's going on downtown. Why is it that we can't go in and slap restrictions against, like if a violation of health, the defecating on a sidewalk, which I lost a sale that day. I had a funeral customer come in crying, and we're standing there, I'm trying to sell her this angel. We look out and a child is defecating on the sidewalk. She looked at me and she said, I will never be back. This is why I don't come down here. And I cried. It's not fair and it's not right, and I'm losing money. I'm losing walk-in traffic because nobody wants to come to my shop because they're afraid of what's across the street. I'm telling you this now because I just want you to be aware of my side of the story and what's going on. I thought for sure that by now we could have gotten a little bit better. We did get a fence put up and that was okay, but now they're sitting on the sidewalks in front of the hotel, congregating. So really, I don't feel safe. But there are some things in the Ohio revised codes that I'm not sure why we can't charge them with public nuisances. I don't understand that. I want you to enlighten me. I want you to help me understand so I don't get so upset. But I mean, this is all new to me. All I see is the bad stuff. I need help from you all, as Harry said. I don't know what the answer is. All I know is that we need help. And Harry and I really want to leave. And I don't want to, because you know what? That's my home. My husband was brought up as a child there. My kids were brought up as children. And now I have my granddaughter down there. And I love the city of Steubenville. As a matter of fact, I joined recently the chamber. I want to be involved. I want to make a difference. I think that I can. I did a topic at the university with the bootstraps. And I want the young entrepreneurs to come down here, make this city great. I really want to be a voice, but I feel like I'm being shut down, and I don't know how much more that we can do. I've done some research, but again, I appreciate everything that you guys have said tonight. It really helped me. It made me feel a little bit better, and I appreciate all that and all of your hard work and the police department, because they do watch me when I'm by myself. I am afraid, because sometimes I'm down there at 8 o'clock at night by myself. So you do watch me, and I do appreciate that. So I want to recognize the police department for doing that for me. So I just need some more guidance, and I need some recognition. I need communication with you guys, and I need, to do follow-ups, just like Mr. Abramatic said, and definitely Harry and I will be at that meeting. Just let us know. I will be there, because I want this to stop. And as the mayor said, enough is enough. And I'm hoping with Harry and I being here, I'm hoping that we can bring this into light and to bring this public nuisance, or if it's the HUD housing or a building nuisance, something. We've got to do something to slap citations, violations, something to these people and to stop them. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who business, please come forward, state their name and address.
My name is Mark Nelson. I live at 272 County Road 26 here in Steubenville. First of all, I want to thank the city for participating with SRG on the Heritage Ohio event last week, and for those city fathers and government positions present there to join us as we discussed everything. Last night we had the board meeting for SRG. It was just a smaller meeting, just being the board, and the whole problem with the hotel came up. Everything from frustration to a lot of compassion. Some of the people there, obviously, they're needing a place to live and are just as upset as we've heard here in council. There's been 2 or 3 gentlemen on 2 or 3 occasions begging for help, essentially, because they're not happy with the living conditions either. So it was a whole mixed bag of discussion that went on last night, which prompted me to start doing research, and actually prompted some of the emails that went out earlier, hopefully shed a little more light, at least some of us that weren't familiar with Mr. Koo. The Robert Pritchard that you mentioned, be aware his name comes up through Mr. Koo's life as well. He's a principal with Arbor Management. It's ARBOUR Management. They're also listed as a co-owner on the county's website. Alicia Holdings is listed there, LLC. I believe that's a parent organization, a local organization, a shell organization, a silent partner for DACO Investments that Mr. Koo owns. The co-owner is Arbor Valley Management, and I think they also came up in the article from Birmingham about the towers fire that occurred in Birmingham last fall. It still hasn't been resolved. So I'm not sure if Arbor Valley is another shell game of his or what's going on, but anyhow, it's all closely connected and it stinks. And if you can present that to HUD. I think the secret's in that contract, right, in the on-account contract. Anyhow, thank you for addressing it, Mr. Kaiser. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to city council on city business? Please come forward, state your name and address.
My name is Sandy Brewer. I live in 803 Monsters Drive in Steubenville. And I just wanted to reiterate to Sister Mary and to the other citizens of the city that even though the pool is shut down, we do have the Martin Luther King Recreation Center, and Mary Beth does a great job of having programs that are going on there. They can go there, they're free to play on the playground equipment in the back, they can, play basketball, they can do a myriad of things there. So even though the pool had to close down early because of the lifeguard situation, we do have the park and we do have the Martin Luther King Center. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to city council on city business? Please come forward, state their name and address.
Your Honor,
Mr. Bill
I
Knight.
just want to say one thing to Pam and Harry. You guys just showed a lot of class in this town, because I would not be as nice as you were. You sugarcoated a couple of things there, both of you did. But we're going to get you some help up there. Mr. Member Mattis, we talked about the tax squad, which I told you about, and it's just a matter of we got to get these 2 new guys on board, and there's going to be more discussion about what's going on 4th Street. That I promise both of you. I've known you all my life. I've known your children since they were born, and there's going to be some action taken up there. I promise you that.
Thank you, Mr. Bill. Thank you, Mr. Bill Magner. Mr. Paul?
Yes, Your Honor, if there's no further business before this council, I make a motion that we adjourn to the next meeting.
Second.
It's been rarely moved and seconded that we adjourn. Roll call.
Mr. Bill Magna.
Aye.
Mr. Loretto.